Welcome to the Put on Waivers Media Group, home of the Put on Raiders podcast and the Student Body Right podcast. This is your place for the best breakdowns and the best insight for those who fight on and bleed silver and black. Now, here are your hosts, Dwayne Douglas and Ryan Holmes.
Welcome, everybody, to another glorious episode of Student Body Rights USC podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas, and as always, I am podcasting on the beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. A rainy, dreary day out here in Southern California. PORSBR is my Twitter handle, so check me out there. Also, Put on Waivers _ podcast is Put on Waivers _ podcast, and then LAFB Network. Check out all the stuff there. I write for them as well, so check out my articles there. I talked about in my last article before the Michigan game. Hey, let's get some 3 linebacker looks out there, and then they got some 303 linebacker looks out there, and I think it really helped them stop the Michigan running game and everything else defensively. So that's one part of it. Denton Lynn and company did a great job. Really fun to see the Coliseum like that. Good to see, some of the drone shots where you couldn't even see an empty seat. The shot of USC folks at the Coliseum showing videos of the fourth quarter beginning and Michigan fans leaving the building was fantastic as well. So fun times out there right now in Los Angeles. So we'll see if the Trojans can continue that really good play here. So we're gonna do a quick look before we do our big preview on Thursday. We're gonna do a quick look of points for this USC and Notre Dame game. I think one thing is, the question people might ask and say, is Notre Dame as overrated? Played 2 close games against Miami, another close game against Texas A&M. They lost one on the road. They lost one at home. They lost both games on the road, if you will. So, Miami was on the road. Texas A&M was at home, and they lost in thrilling fashion. And they were still ranked or in the top 25 because they played such a high level opponent, I guess. 0-2 is still 0-2. So obviously you have that, and then they really haven't played. They've had 5 get right games. Usually, people with normal schedules, and this is, I am knocking Notre Dame. It doesn't matter. The people with normal schedules don't get 5, get right games. So they have 5 get right games. And I will say the positive part for that is you can get playing time, and you can get stuff. You can get things going. You can get if you get some injuries, get some backups in there to go out there and play, and you can settle in on your running game and your passing game. You can get those things headed in the right direction before you play a quality opponent. One of the reasons why I want to get rid of this game is because if this game isn't on their schedule, they don't have it. Even if Notre Dame runs the table, the schedule is so weak after those first 2 games that they don't have a path to the playoff. A 10-2 Notre Dame team might make it. They might not make it with this schedule. They might not make it. So that's neither here nor there. We all know they're not joining a conference under any circumstances. So that's who they are. That's what they have built their brand on, is being independent, and that's what they want to do. So it is what it is as far as that goes. But I think they are a really good team. I don't think they are how can I put it? They are not. I think last year's team is better on defense, special teams, everything like that. I think this year's team, while they dipped a little bit defensively in my mind, dipped a little bit special teams wise, they've made up for it in the passing game. Ronnie Leonard cannot throw like Carr. Like Carr is even as a freshman, is a really accomplished passer of the football. Now, can USC use their defensive line rotations to get him off his spots? Maybe cause a turnover. Maybe do something. Maybe do something. Maybe make him do something that he doesn't usually do. That is a possibility. But at the at the outset, you're if you give this guy time to throw the football, you're playing with fire. And I think one of the things I do appreciate about him too as well is the fact that he is very resourceful. The guy is a resourceful player. He can make plays off script, although he's not like an all-time, great runner of the football or anything like that. He's not a slouch back there as well. So that's if you haven't seen your Notre Dame play this year, I mean, that's the thing you gotta look out for is his ability to play a little bit off script and his ability to do what he to keep his team on schedule. And they do a good job of spreading the football around. They don't have the top of the line. I mean, they have some good receivers. They don't have a Lemon. They don't have a Jacoby Lane, but they do have a bunch of guys. I think they have like 6 or 8 guys who have 13 catches or more. So that's something to look for as well from Notre Dame. Um, can USC keep this game in the 20s? I don't know if they keep the game in the 20s. I think Notre Dame might be too good for that, but I'm gonna go ahead and check the weather report real quick because the weather in South Bend is supposed to be a little iffy here, a little rainy, a little dreary, and that's going to make people automatically pick Notre Dame to win. But we'll see. Let me just check this kick real quick. Just put in a little South Bend, South Bend action, and check out what the weather might be like on Saturday. Let's see, get a 7 day. I don't need all that. Let me see. Next 48 hours. Bam. All these ads pop up because you cannot get through without an ad. Let's go to 10 day. Oh, I need premium to go 10 day. That's hilarious. Do I really need to go premium for 10 day? Okay, that's crazy. All right, but as I looked that up, um, it would take a lot of turnovers for them to play in the 20s. It would a lot of stops, and I don't know if I think USC has played improved defensively, especially in the last game. But we can't ignore the previous Michigan games. We can't. We can't ignore those games. Those games were real. Those games happened, and they give up a lot of big plays in those games. So, are they going to be susceptible to big plays in this game? I think so, because they're just playing a really well coached team, and this is a very familiar opponent. This is like almost playing a conference opponent, if you will, because they play each other so often. And this is life or death for Notre Dame. Notre Dame knows they have no argument for the playoffs if they lose this game. They know that. They know that. So, for sure, this will end any run for them. For USC, it doesn't, but it does put them in a position where they have to win Nebraska and have to win um, Oregon. And I'm the goal for this season for me. The whole goal for the season was to get to the Oregon game with one loss or less. And the food poisoning game, whatever you want to call it, in Champaign really kind of screwed that up for USC. Was the Michigan game a mirage? I don't. It's not. I don't know if it's a mirage. I think it's more of hey, this is what we're capable of. This is what we're capable of. If we get all ducks in a row, um, right now it looks like on Saturday, it looks like light rain on Saturday, and it's still going to be in the 60s. So light rain, which can lead to slick conditions for footing and also holding onto the football. So, but I don't know if this was a mirage for SC. I don't think it really was a mirage. I think it's more along the lines of, they showed you what they're capable of when they're completely focused. And they play like every single play matters. They play like every single play matters on defense, on special teams. They play like every play matters on defense as well. And I want to give you gotta give them a whole lot of props as well for that. So I don't think it was mirage. I think when teams play like this, they show you that, hey, this is how we can really play football. Bam, like this is it right. This is when everything is when we put everything in the right direction. That's how we play football. The running back room, the running back room is depleted, but it's Licky Riley said that Worley is ready to go. So is Holton, and so is Harry Dalton the third. So you have Dalton, you have Wormley, you have Miller, and then you also have Jackson. So you have four guys who are ready to go. I would say the thing that you would worry about when you put in young running backs who have not played. One is blitz pickup. Will they do blitz pickup with him at times, or will they, keep McCree and Walker Lyons in to make sure that they don't have the responsibility of having to block incoming linebackers, so they can remain a threat in the offense. So we've seen Lincoln Riley do that. I think that's something that you might want to consider because blocking is more. I think right now, if Wormley's in the game at running back, and you're in 12 person. If you're in 12 personnel, then you have an opportunity to say, hey, I can either keep one of these one of my tight ends in to help out and block, and then if I want to get Wormley out into a pattern to maybe free up a spot for a linebacker to occupy a linebacker so I can throw behind it, or just get the ball to him so he can do what he needs to do. That's something to think about as well. So I think pass protection, when you see young running backs don't not play, I think the best thing, one of the reasons why is either somebody's ahead of them who was really, really good. And I think in this case, it was something about somebody who was ahead of them really, really good. And Eli Sanders and Wayman Jordan, those guys were the top backs clearly, but these guys can still play. We've seen a little bit of the burst from Dalton the third. I think he had some action in some of these games before he got hurt. So I would definitely look at those situations, and you want to make sure that you're not in those situations where you're forcing pass protection duties on these young running backs because they just haven't played enough. I mean, Brian Jackson has the physical stature to hold up in that situation. So we'll see if that continues. I think also, can these guys catch the football with their fluidly? We saw some of the great catches that King Miller made. Brian Jackson's okay with that as well. He has good, decent hands. Usually, it's a staple of USC running backs for under Lincoln Riley to have guys who can actually catch the football out of the backfield. So that's something that we haven't seen from Dalton. We haven't seen from Wormley. So we have to see if they're able to do those things. But I do think it's a situation here where it really helps. It really helps to have a really good the running backs coach. USC has that. He has gotten his team prepared, and I think the running backs have played over their heads. Not over their heads, but like they've played to such a high. No matter who they put out there, the running backs have played to such a high level that you got to give them a whole lot of credit for what they've been able to accomplish here. And they were just great in this game. They've been great. They've been great in this during the season, and you hope that continues, no matter who it was. So you got four backs, so that adds to depth. You don't need to have to call the Big Ten and get charged $5,000 for putting in Brian Jackson, and all those things like that. You got a good staple of running backs, and we'll see if they're able to do anything at Notre Dame. Last point here was it's time. I mean, for SC, this is not a. I know they're 8.5 point underdogs to Notre Dame. After their best performance of the year, so that's kind of interesting that the bookies have that. But I do think the reality of last year's game was USC was in turmoil. They just changed quarterbacks. They didn't stop Love. They didn't stop anybody on defense. Um, they gave up a bunch of points in that game, and they're at the 2 yard line with Jaden Mayava, first and goal. And because I think last year USC was trying to placate and keep all four wide receivers happy. He ends up throwing an interception, a jump ball on first down when they really should have just, run the football. And if you're gonna throw a jump ball, can we throw it to Jacoby Lane? I mean, that was like my kind of take on that play, and then all of a sudden everything fell apart in that game against Notre Dame. So was Notre Dame better last year? Yes, but they were still a plays away. They were a couple plays away from having to go to overtime against a in turmoil USC team. Now this team has played very well together. Even in their worst moment, they only lost, but they lost on a field goal with time running out. So they do have a lot of moxie. They do have a lot of togetherness on this team, and I just think it's time that they beat Notre Dame and Notre Dame. And Notre Dame's going to beat them 3 straight years. I mean, are they really going to lose to them 3 straight years? I mean, that's something where like I love, like I said, I like Lincoln Riley more than most, but it's a difficult pill to swallow to lose to that team that many times in a row. You can't keep losing to Notre Dame like that. You gotta be able to, if you're gonna play this game, you got to be able to every other year beat Notre Dame and keep it a rivalry. Because right now you're costing yourself. If Notre Dame wasn't on this schedule, USC would have a clear path to the playoff, playing in a real conference with real foes, with real defenses, with a real quarterback play that could actually beat you, unlike the Notre Dame schedule. So, Notre Dame, USC on the West Coast time. We don't give East Coast times here. West Coast time, 4:30. I got to be on NBC. But so it should be fun. It's always fun to see those two helmets on the field together. As far as that goes, even though again I don't love this game. If this game went away, I would not be sad. Or if Notre Dame would join the conference, I wouldn't be sad either. But that's neither here nor there. All right, Suited by the Right USC podcast. Saying goodbye. Fight on. Have a great day. Peace.